Hi, I'm Dr. Vonda Wright, and welcome to this Roadmap to Resilience class. Today, we are going to explore two amazing concepts that are related to how resilient you're becoming: flexibility and curiosity. You know, sometimes I find when I'm in a new situation, I feel inside me something that's stopping me, something in my mind or in my body that instead of saying yes to a situation, my first response is no. I think something really important to do in that time is to step back, maybe even get a little curious about yourself. Why am I feeling this way? What is stopping me from taking the next step? That curiosity about why you're feeling the way you're feeling is one of the ways that we can actually become more resilient. But I want us to think about our resilience and our hardiness in terms of a GPS. You know, let's say we have a goal to get to. We want to get somewhere in life, but we have the same patterns of getting there time and time again, which may not be right in this situation. It may block our progression. Remember what happens with GPS? If we take a different turn, we will be redirected back towards our goal on a different pathway. But it's that flexibility and that concept of resilience GPS, if you will, that we need to use to get where we're going and not get stuck. So keep watching as some amazing experts will share their insights on how to build resilience through curiosity and flexibility.
One thing that I think is a very simple way for people to tap into to feel better and to help them really develop their resilience is curiosity. I think of curiosity as a superpower. So if we are starting to notice that we're resisting something, which is the opposite of resilience, we can get curious. What's that resistance feel like? And the simple way to do this is to drop into our direct bodily experience and just ask ourselves, what does resistance feel like? What does resistance feel like? And get curious about that. As we get curious, that curiosity starts to dissolve that resistance, because we can't resist and be curious at the same time. So you can think of curiosity as that solvent which dissolves that resistance. And so anytime that we're resistant, we can bring up that curiosity. And I love that little which naturally gets us to be curious. And the more we do that, the easier it is to do in the future. So basically, be more curious. Curiosity is a very simple way that we can tap into our natural capacity to turn toward what is, rather than running away or resisting it.
I think there is a big link between curiosity and resiliency. It's not there at the beginning of loss, but if you can find that place in you sooner than later, and everyone has a different journey to it, but curiosity is often a lifesaver. It informs you and allows you to have a little bit more freedom of, all right, so I'm going to stay a little detached from my expectations or my outcomes, not because I don't care, but because maybe there's room for other things to happen and growth to happen inside of me that can be positive.
What makes us resilient is really flexibility. We need to have the tools and the traits and behaviors kind of in our pocket, but most people have at least some of those things. But flexibility is the process by which we use them to solve the challenges we face. I've been researching flexibility. And in that research, we've identified three components of flexibility: context sensitivity, repertoire, and feedback responsive, feedback monitoring. Context sensitivity is the ability to just read the context, to ask ourselves that question: what's happening to me? What do I need to do here? What is this situation about? When we answer that question, then we move on to the next step, which is repertoire. We have to determine, what am I able to do of the things that I could do here? Which one of these things am I able to do? Am I able to be completely stoic and fight it off? Maybe not. So maybe I need to do something else, ask for help or express my emotion, etc. So we choose a kind of a response based to our best of our ability. And then we have a third step, which we call feedback monitoring, in which we ask ourselves basically, is this working? Is this solving the problem for me? Is this helping me stay balanced? Is this helping me feel better? And if not, we need to either adjust it or try something different. And we cycle through these processes until we kind of solve the problem.
The power of curiosity, it's the thing that we have as kids that we lose as adults. But if you ever meet a really dynamic, interesting adult, it's because they're fascinated with the world. They're fascinated by people. And you felt this way when you traveled and you're just saying yes to everything. You're like, yes, I'll have another mimosa. Yes, I'll hop on this moped and take me to a deserted island. Yes, I'll dance under the moonlight. Like, you're just open to saying yes and to everything in that very improv sort of way. And that's when like so many opportunities appear that would have never appeared if you weren't curious.
The biggest challenge of my life thus far, which I have faced, was my battle with AML leukemia, which began when I was 16 years old and endured for 2 years, from 2006 to 2008. I had no choice but to continue. Giving up was simply not an option for me, despite all the potential stakes. And that drive to not give up and to simply continue was, in fact, the great motivation which led me to become resilient, to find another door to open, and ultimately to leave leukemia behind. The earlier lessons which I had learned from the struggles with leukemia: nothing lasts forever, nothing is infinite. You can't always change what happens, but you can always change what you feel. And that in life, there are always going to be new doors to open and new roads to walk. I think reinforcing all of these ideas has put me into a relatively peaceful frame of mind.
Now that you've heard from our amazing experts, here are a few tasks that you can do yourself at home to build your resilience through flexibility and curiosity. First, try the eye trick exercise regularly. Interestingly, Dr. Jud Brewer told us that you can't be resistant and curious at the same time. And this exercise helps us help our brain to overcome that resistance through curiosity using our own eyes. In our second tip, we want you to try something new. You know, flexibility, like Dr. Bonanno spoke about, comes one step at a time. How about you do something easy, like try a different place for lunch? Or maybe today you try an alternate route home. Remember, we're asking you to use flexibility like a GPS for your brain. Take a slightly different pathway to each of your goals and do it in concrete ways now. Whether it's lunch, whether it's a new route home, whether it's calling a different friend when you need to just vent about your day, pick at least one new thing to do this week to take your first steps towards increasing your flexibility. In our final task for this month, we'd like you to meditate. You know, if you're worried about the future or the past, it's going to make the previous two tasks really hard because you're going to be focusing on the nitty-gritty details of why you can't. This month, challenge yourself to meditate every day for 5 minutes. Focus on your breathing. Stay in the moment. When you're ready, increase the time you meditate to 10 minutes, then 15 minutes. By focusing in the moment, staying where you are, not letting your mind focus on the past or the future, you will be able to execute better flexibility and curiosity on your road to resilience. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to ShareCare's YouTube channel so you do not miss a single class. See you next time.